Yeah, this is the original bottle, and it's all the rig included in all its glory. But then again, when I trace back with human anatomy, it's very complicated rigging. There's a lot of bones here, right? So I was trying to make like a simple rigid body, and then make the bone structure. I mean the bone, yeah. The bone rig is more complicated, but it seems that if I trace back on the human body proportion, right? So let's ignore this bone, right? Okay, there's a lot of stuff here, right? It's kind of like quite accurate, I don't know how it's gonna work yet, but if you put some IKs here, put some IKs here, it's gonna be like super awesome. But then again, let's see if I just see this rigid body, right? And then I trace the area here, the skin part, following the original model, one part, and the other part is that you can't just use the old model, the original, let's say low poly, and use that as a collision mesh. But then again, if you're thinking of doing that, there's a lot of calculation is waste here. If I'm using a collision mesh, there's vertices around here. And if there's a hit, it's just too much vertices for the count. It's kind of like ragdoll is kind of like those low poly part in physics. Yeah, there's a physics, but then again, there's a low poly in physics part by using ragdoll, right? So when you see inside here, right, this is following exactly the human anatomy, how it's going to be, right? Here like that. See, we have this bone which goes here, right, and then there's a overhang here, and then this part, it's going to get to the breast. And the best part about this is that, see, the stomach is empty. See, so the stomach is rest here, this is what enveloping on top of the stomach. It's like I said, it's like a rooftop on a house, And then when it goes to here, right, there's a thing where when you push the tie in rigid body, it's going to happen, right? When you push the tie, the hip is not going to move together with it. So this is how it's going to be, because when you look at this, right, there's an intersection here. See? So when I push the tie, it's going to push this, and it's going to push the hip. So that is simulating the original effects of how the human body works. Because the hip bone sit on here, and it's like resting on the hip bone. This whole joint is resting on the hip bone in the human anatomy style ways. Yeah, and it's kind of like slanting a bit on this side. You can get the buttocks muscle to work on pushing the thigh as well. And then from this part here, I can trace the bone following this section instead of using those complicated bones. I'm using it by myself, try to find mapping the whole movement of the body skin, almost like that, but maybe I can achieve it with a simpler type by following the human anatomy style ways, and it's gonna follow the this is the spine part. So the spine is resting on this buttock here, right? It's gonna go up here and go here, it's gonna follow exactly. Where is it? Because sometimes bone can cover a lot of rigid body bone can cover a lot of spaces in the vertices. So you don't need to have to move like small portion of bone, maybe some big portion of bone can simulate the same effect, trying to lessen the bone in the same time trying to lessen the vertices of the impact in a way. So yeah, and this is the next level of trying to find out, whether it's possible or not possible, whether it's going to get us almost accurate simulation of the human body itself.